Welcome back to you watching this video. So for this video, we're going to try to estimate uh, the woodworks for a roofing system. Okay, so specifically for this problem, it is a lean or shed, lean-to or shed type of roofing system, wherein you have one-sided slope. Okay, so if this is the structure, the roof is one-sided. Okay, so one-sided lang siya. Okay, so what are the things that needs to be estimated? So for woodworks, we need to estimate for the purlins. So when we design kasi, uh, or when the load is being transferred, if this is your sheet, no, your GI sheet, it will be the one who will be receiving the wind load. Okay, so it is the one receiving the wind load, and from there it will be transferred to the purlins. So we have here our purlins. Then after the purlins, it will be transferred to our rafter. Okay, so this is the purlins. The purlins is oriented this way, while the rafter is oriented this way. So you have here your rafter. Okay, then after the rafter, it will be transferred to your girth. Okay, so the girth is oriented this way. Okay, so this will be the girth. Now, the girth is the ones responsible in transferring the load from the roofing system to the structural member. Okay, so we are going to start first with our girth. Okay, so what are the requirements? First, we need to solve for the roof frame materials. For letter A, it is a 2-inch by 10-inch girth. So it is only a single girth. And the spacing of the girth is 2.5 meter on center distance. Okay? So the first thing that we need to do is to determine the length of our girth. So for the length of the girth, it is the length of the structure. Okay? It is from end to end distance. So it is 7.5 meters. So 7.5 meters is equivalent to, how many feet is that? 25, no, 7.5, shift convert, 0.4. Okay, so that is equivalent to 24.606 feet. Okay, now if we're going to base it on the commercial length, isn't it that our commercial length is the only available commercial length is up to 20 feet? Okay, so 25 would be rounded up to 25 feet, but the available commercial length is only 20 feet. So what we're going to do is we're going to add two, or we're going to combine two lumber. Okay, but the thing is, if this is the lumber, if I am to cut my lumber, okay, it should be cut diagonally. The connection should be cut diagonally. It has an angle here of 45 degrees and 45 degrees. Now, if I am to connect two lumber here, the problem would be, how am I going to anchor this two or connect these two? So, pag papakuin natin dito, papakuin din natin sa ilalim, that would still be unsafe. Okay? That's why we need to introduce what we call the splice block. So, splice block is made of wood. So, ito yung ating splice block. Splice block here, it is made of wood. If it is one-sided, one-sided splice block. So, pag one-sided lang siya, ganito siya. Okay. If it is a one-sided splice block, we are going to use 4 feet. But take note, your girth is an essential member, and it carries all the load coming from the roof, or coming from the GI sheet, transferred to the purlins, transferred to the rafter, and that is being carried by the girth. Okay, so since that is the case, what we're going to do is we're going to have two splice block. So one on the other side and another one on the other side. But this time, okay na yung 3 feet to 3 feet to 4 feet, since it is double splice block. Okay, so if that is the case, we have here 25. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to see if anong magkakasya from 3 feet to 4 feet. Okay, so we have here 25, and our commercial length is until 20 feet only. So plus 5, so that is 25. Okay, let's check if we are going to use 4 feet plus 4 feet. So 25 plus 4 plus 4. That is 33 feet. Okay? Isn't it that we have the 16 feet plus 16 feet? So 16 plus 16, that is 32 feet. So instead of using 4 feet here, why not use 3.5 feet? 3.5 feet. And that is equivalent to 32 feet. Okay? So what we're going to do is I am going to use two pieces of 16 feet. Okay? And two pieces of 16 feet is equivalent to 32 feet here. Okay? So, i-write natin. We have here 25 plus 3.5 plus 3.5 is equivalent to 32 feet. So, pasok tayo sa ating dimension. Okay? So, after getting the number of pieces that we need for one length, this is just only applicable for one length. Okay? I repeat, it is only applicable for one length. So, how many girth are we going to use? Okay? So, for the number of girth, it is spaced as at 2.5 meter on center. So, we have here the length, which is 6.5. So, we are going to use the 6.5 to determine how many girth are we going to use. So, kasi dito natin pagkakasyahin yan sa 6.5. Okay? So, 6.5 meters divided by the on-center distance. And our on-center distance is 2.5 meters. 2.5. And that is equivalent to 6.5 divided by 2.5. That is 2.6. Do we have a 2.6 spacing? No, we don't. Therefore, we rounded up to 3 pieces of 25 feet. So, 3 pieces times 2, that is equivalent to 6 pieces of 2 by 10 inch by 16 feet rough lumber. Okay, so that is for our girth. Next would be the rafter. So after your girth has been laid out, so let me draw that one. Okay, so if this is your girth, the orientation of the rafter is downwards, perpendicular. So perpendicular perpendicular orientation with respect to our girth. So this is my rafter. Okay? So ito yung ating rafter here. So we have here our rafter. So, oriented siya pa ganon. Ito yung ating purlins. Okay? Though this is a different picture, but what I'm trying to show you is the rafter. Okay? Okay, so this is 7.5 meters. So we proceed. How are we going to determine the length? Now, since this is a lean-to type roof, we have here an extended eave. And the horizontal distance of the extended eave is 2 meters. 2 meters, 2 meters. But what we need here would be this distance. We need this distance. In order to get that distance, we can use this. Okay, so we can get this distance from here up to here. Okay, so that is 3.5 meters minus 2.8. So that is equivalent to 0.7 meters. Then we can solve for theta. This is 6.5, this is 0.7. We can solve for theta. It is tangent. Tangent opposite, which is 0.7, divided by the adjacent distance of 6.5 meters. Therefore, the angle is equivalent to 6.147 degrees. So theta here is equivalent to 6.147 degrees. And we know that this distance here is 6.5 plus 2, 8.5 plus 2, 10.5. So 10.5 meters. So what would be the length? It is the function of cosine. So cosine theta is equivalent to 10.5 over the distance L. Okay, so L is equivalent to 10.5 divided by cosine 6.147 degrees. L therefore is equivalent to cosine. Okay, so that is, that is 10.5. So that is 10.561 meters. So 10.61 meters, 561 meters is equivalent to how many feet? That is equivalent to 34.648 feet, rounded up to 35 feet. So that would be the length of our rafter. Now the question is, gaano karaming rafter? Okay? So ang mangyayari, pagkakasahin natin yung rafter dito sa 7.5. Dito sa 7.5. Okay? Take note that the distance 7.5 is edge to edge. So the on-center distance is this one. So 7.5 minus 0.025 times 2. Okay, so because this is 2 inch. 2 inch. This is 1 inch. This is another inch. Okay? Okay. So the number of rafter is equivalent to the length, which is 7.5 meters, minus 0.025 for the half, with times 2, divided by the spacing. And our spacing for rafter is 1.2 meter on center spacing. Now for the spacing of rafter, it can start from 0.3, 0.6, 0.9, 1.2 meters. Okay? 1.2 meters yung spacing natin. Okay? It can go as high as 1.2. Okay. So, plus 1. So, that is equivalent to 7.5 minus 0.025 times 2. We have here 7.45. 7.45 divided by 1.2 plus 1, that is equivalent to 7.208 plus 1 because pag wala yung plus 1, spacing lang ang kinocompute natin. So we need to add plus 1. So there is no such thing as 7.28 or 21 pieces. So we round it up to 8 pieces of 35 feet on center spacing, which should not be greater than, or which should be less than 1.2 meters. As long as we satisfy this condition, we are okay. Take note here that the 1.2 meter on center spacing is for 7.21. But since we round it up to 8, it is expected that the spacing will decrease from 1.2, and that is okay. So how many numbers of 2 by 8 by 18? Saan ang galing 18 feet dito? Isn't it that we are going to use 36 feet, and the next commercially available size is the 36 feet. So we are going to use, or the next even number that is nearest 35 is 36. So what combination can we use for a 36 feet? 36 divided by 2, so we can use 18 feet. Okay, so we use 18 feet rough lumber. 18 plus 18, that is equivalent to 36 feet. So 8 times 2, we have 16. Okay, so we will be buying 16 pieces of 2-inch by 8-inch by 18 feet rough lumber. But we are not yet done. Because take note, if we are going to connect that one. Okay, i-connect natin siya. And since it will be connected, they are two different member, we are going to connect it by a splice joint. Okay, so a splice joint, we are for rafter, we can use na one-sided splice joint. So what we're going to do is, we have here a distance of 8 feet. Okay, so ang distance natin is 8 feet. That is the smallest commercial length. Yeah, so if we are to divide that by 2, we are to divide it by 2. This is 4 feet. This is also 4 feet. Okay, so mangyayari, ilan yung rafter natin? We have 16 pieces. So if I am to buy 8 pieces of 8 feet divided by 2, I will be having 16 pieces of 4 feet. So, tama, di ba? So, ang gagawin natin is, we are going to buy 16 pieces. So, 16 pieces of rafter divided by 2, then we are going to buy 8 pieces of 2-inch by 8-inch by 8 feet of rough lumber. And that is for the rafter. Next would be the purlins. The purlins is 2-inch by 8-inch, and it is spaced at 0.6 meter on center. Okay, so if this is your rafter here, this one is your rafter, this one here is your purlins. Okay, so the length of the purlins would be 7.5 plus 7.5, and here we have an eve of we were not given the eve, I think. Okay, so anyways, for an eve, it is generally 2 feet for the maximum length of the eve for a typical overhang, but it can be computed with respect to the pitch. Okay, so kinocompute siya with respect sa pitch ng sa window. Okay, so for this example, it was designed as 1.5 meter. Okay, so we were given the eve of 7.5 meters. Therefore, the length of our eve is equivalent to, we have 7.5 meters here plus 1.5 here plus 1.5 here. Okay, So, 7.5. Ito yun. 7.5 plus 1.5 plus 1.5. And that is equivalent to 10.5 meters. And 10.5 meters is equivalent to how many feet? That is equivalent to 34.449 feet. And that is equivalent to 35 feet. Therefore, again, ang gagamitin natin is 2 18 feet of rough lumber. So, 2 times 18, that is equivalent to 36 feet, which is, pasok yung 35 feet. Okay? So, for the number of purlins, we have here, this length here. The length here is, take note that the length here is this one, up to edge. This is 10.56. But the on-center distance we are pertaining here is the on-center distance. Likewise with this one. So 10.56 minus 0.025. 0.025, that is 0.05. So 10.56 minus 0.05. That is equivalent to 10.51. So, bakit mali yung na doon? Okay, so 10.51 meters. So, for the number of purlins, so we use 10.51 plus 1, or 10.51 divided by the spacing. What would be the spacing of our purlins? We were given at 0.6 meters. So 0.6. So this is only the spacing. So plus 1 to determine the number of purlins. So 10.51 divided by 0.6. So that plus 1, that is equivalent to 18.517. And we round it up to 19 pieces. 19 pieces of purlins on center spacing 0.6. As long as we do not exceed the 0.6, then we are okay. So how many 18 feet are we going to buy? So we have here 19 pieces, but per piece we're going to buy 2. We're going to buy 2 36 feet. So 19 times 2 is equivalent, nandito na pala siya. So 19 times 2 is equivalent to 40. Wait. So 19 19, we have here a double purlin at the top and the bottom. So double purlin here and double purlin here. So that is 19 plus 2 for the double purlins times 2 kasi dalawang 18 feet. Okay? So 19 yung naka-space na 0.6 plus dalawa kasi double yung sa top, double yung sa bottom. So plus 2, then times 2. That is equivalent to 42 pieces of 2 inch by 8 inch by 18 feet of rough lumber. Now again, for the splice block, so for the splice block, it is the number of purlins, which is 42 pieces, divided by 2, like what we have explained kanina. Because we have here 8 feet, pag dinivide mo ng 2, magiging 2 of 4 feet. Okay? So this is equivalent to 21 pieces. Okay? So we will be buying 21 pieces of 2 inch by 8 inch by 8 feet. Now, take note that for the splice block, whatever the dimension of your member na dinedesign mo or ine-estimate mo, like for example here purlins, kung ano yung dimension ng purlins, that would be the dimension of the splice blocks, 2 by 8, 2 by 8. Okay? And like here we have 2 by 10 girth. Then for the splicing, we will be using 2 by 10. Okay, this one should be 2 by 10. Okay. Wait. Wait. No. This is letter B. Rafter is 2 by 8. Mistake. So, tama ito. This one is 8 inch. While for letter A, for ours, tama. Naka 10 inch tayo dito. So, tama. 8 inch, 10 inch, tapos 8 inch. Then, for the rafter here, we used 8 inch. Okay? And lastly would be the fascia board. So for fascia board, we use the fascia board simply to design or to cover the roofing system. So we know that the length here is 10.5. So ito yun. That one here is 10.5 and the other is 10.56. Okay? So we know na ang kasya dito, this one is 35 feet also. This one is also 35 feet and ang kasya dito is 36 feet. Okay? Now for the fascia board, tigda dalawa per side. Okay? Now for the number of fascia board, ilan yung sa 256? We have 2 times 2. So 2 pieces times 2 plus we have here number for 10.5. We also have here 2 times 2, and that is equivalent to 8 pieces. Wait, saan to nanggaling? Number of 10 times 2 side. Times 2 side. It should not be minus. It should be times 2 side. Okay? No. 10.5 meter side. 10.56 meter side. Okay? So, for here, ang bibilhin natin is 8 pieces of 1 inch by 12 inch by 18 feet rough lumber. Now, for this one, we are not going to have any splice block because we are going to nail this part for this one we have the rafter. For this one we have the this one is the rafter. Yeah, rafter side din to, then rafter side din to. Okay? So for the rafter side dito, ito yung rafter side, then yung pababa nung rafter side ito. Okay? Doon natin ipapako. So we don't need splice block. Now for the roof member connection, we can have here the cleat if it is a wood and it is if we have a metal purlin, then we also include sagrad. Okay? Now we can also have here if it is made of wood purlin and wood rafter, we can use wood clip. So, ipapako natin sa side na to para dito sa rafter, then sa side na to para sa purlin. So, that's how we connect our member. For pricing of your lumber, it would be per board foot, okay? So, what do we mean by that? I will just show you an example. We will not be computing for the pricing of what we have estimated. So, for example, we have here 23 pieces of 2 inch by 3 inch by 12 feet. Okay, so we need to convert this in feet. So we have here 2 inch. We need to convert this in board foot. So we have here 2 inch times 3 inch times 12 divided by 12. So that is 6 board foot per piece. So times 23, that is equivalent to 138 board foot. Okay. And the pricing in the market of board foot is ranging from around 35 to 50 pesos. This is depending on your location because it varies, okay? So for the pricing, you should verify this from your local supplier. So let's say you have 138 board foot, then the amount or the costing that you're going to pay is equivalent to 150 138 board foot times, let's say, 40 pesos per board foot. Board foot will cancel out. Therefore, the amount is equivalent to 5,520 pesos. 5,520 pesos for 138 board foot of 23 pieces of 2 inch by 3 inch by 12 feet. Now, what if there is decimal? So for example, here we have here 2 inch by 4 inch by 16 feet. So again, we need to convert this in board foot. So 2 inch by 4 inch by 16 divided by 12, that is equivalent to 10.667 times 40. Therefore, that is 426.667 board foot. If this is the case, whether it is 0.117, 0.227, we round it up to whole number. Okay? So, pag nangyaring 426.17, we round it up to 427. So, in this case, it is 426.67. That is equivalent to 427 board foot. Then, from there, we are going to compute the cost. So, the cost is equivalent to 427 board foot times 35 pesos. Let's say it is 35 pesos per board foot. Cancel. So 427 times 35, you're going to pay 14,945 pesos for 40 pieces of 2 inch by 4 inch by 16 feet. Okay, so that is for the pricing of the lumber. Now for plywood or phenolic board, it is simply per piece. Okay? So per piece ang ating pricing. The pricing of your plywood or phenolic board varies from the thickness. So pag mas makapal yung plywood natin, mas mahal. Pag mas manipis, mas mura. Then, compared sa phenolic board, mas mahal si phenolic board because phenolic board, we can use it for several times, okay? Depending sa pagkaka-baklas ng ating forms.